Hey there, it's YoBo, and it is day 234 of Life According to YoBo, and day 10 of the Life and Death of my beautiful grandmother, Mattie Canton Bowie. Let me tell y'all something. A mistake is not a mistake if you can learn the lesson from it. This morning I talked to my daughter, and she said, "Mommy, I understand why you went out of sequence to have Shannon tell about the visit to the graveyard, but I'm confused now. You're throwing me off. Why are you going out of sequence again and talking about Annie Jean?" I said, "No, baby doll, I'm not going out of sequence." Well, first of all, someone asked the question, what happened to your grandfather? And I had to talk about that. He remarried. He had a child. While I was there, let me tell you a little bit about the child, how we did not have a relationship. And then it wasn't until in yesterday's message when I realized that since 2003, 2004, look, we're getting ready to go into 2016. So how long is that? Dang, 13 years. I have been angry with my mother's half-sister. I'm mad at a woman I don't even know. We ain't never met, y'all. I'm angry with her all this time. Now that's baggage I got to release, and I have to let go. I told you before, you can go get professional help, or you can just make up in your mind, I'm not dealing with that anymore. And I had to realize maybe the way things happen, the way I believe things happen, maybe that ain't what happened anyway. She was acting out of her pain. I'm not going to go into all that again. But I wanted to talk about each one of the children and show you how their parents' decisions affected them. Where's my notes? Oh, just a moment. Got my notes right here. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay. I reached out to my mom's sister. I cut off communication, okay? But now what I didn't realize until this morning was that her daughter told me the only person I never knew about was you, because my mother told me about you. So in my mind, I reached out, she didn't reach back. I don't realize. I'm thinking she didn't reach back. But what did she do? Then she reached out to her daughter. She's telling her daughter about me, so the daughter knows my name. I didn't know all that. When Annie Jean died, and my cousin Mattie said, order flowers. I'll pay for them. I want to order flowers. She said, just order the flowers. Let me know what you spent. I'll pay for them. Now I got to make a phone call, and I got to call Annie Jean's daughter. I didn't have no idea that through the years, she has said nothing but positive things about me. She has told her daughter, I didn't know my siblings, but Jewel has a daughter named Yolanda, and she did contact me. Gwen gets the phone call from me, and she's happy because now she's met the cousin that her mother talked about. Can y'all see how stuff can be going on and you don't have a clue? You looking at people sideways like I was. That woman ain't thinking about me. Okay, let me see. Okay, now, I told you about Annie Jean, but I also want to talk about the other children, the 4 children, and talk about their adult lives. I don't know much about my mother's brothers. Very, very little. But my daughter was telling me this morning, she said, Mommy, that's how they solve mysteries. That's how crimes are solved. You get a little bit of information, you put it all together, and you've solved the mystery. I'm going to tell you just a little bit I know. Uncle W.M., I remember, you know what, this would be a good time to talk to my older cousins. They would remember more. But let me tell you what I remember. I remember his first wife. She was an older woman. She was a lot older than him. I mean a lot. She may have been 15, 20 years older than him. He may have married this woman for the money. But I know that between the two of them, they had acquired a lot of money. It may have been his money. It may have been her money. it may have been their money. But she died first. Then he had a second wife. And I think his second wife was the foster daughter that he and the first wife had. That's what I think. And I'm pretty sure that's what happened. He married this woman. She was a whole lot younger than him. Now, the first wife was a whole lot older. Second wife was a whole lot younger. She might have been 21, 22, 23, whatever. He marries that woman today, took her to the bank tomorrow, put her name on all his bank accounts, and then the next day, she went to the bank, withdrew all the money, and she was gone and left him penniless. So he had to start all over again. That's all I remember about him. And you know, my mother didn't talk. She didn't talk grown folk business around us. My mother was raised by her grandmother, keep in mind. Them old folk, they ain't talking grown folk business. And mama didn't gossip. Mama didn't say nasty things about people. But those are two things I remember about him. My next one, Maxon. I remember him coming to LA. They lived in Northern California. My very first time going to Disneyland, he and his wife, Aunt Bert, took us all to Disneyland. My second memory is me going to Oakland. I think I went with my cousin Mattie, and we were staying at his house. But she had left and I was there. I was sitting in the living room crocheting. Let's talk about his relationships. He was married, but he had 3 daughters by the same woman. He was never married to the woman that he had the 3 daughters with. The woman actually had about 8 children. 3 were his. I don't know if these children were born while he was married to Aunt Bert, or if they were babies when he got with her. I don't know. But this particular day, I have never told this story. Aunt Bert asked me not to tell it, and I promised her I wouldn't tell it. But from 12 years old, I kept the secret, just like she asked me. I'm sitting there crocheting. Something happened where she said something to his kids or something about his kids. But while I'm sitting there in the chair crocheting, just like I'm sitting in the chair now, they had it out. Right there in the living room. It started out as an argument and it became physical. I believe she was fighting him back, but I remember I was looking down because I just really didn't want to see what was going on, because I had never seen nothing like that. My mom and daddy didn't fight. They didn't do that. Mama said daddy hit her 1 time. She said daddy's first time hitting her was daddy's last time hitting her. Mama said when she got through with him, his sister, Aunt Maureen, came over ready to fight Mama. Because Aunt Maureen said, Drayton told me, Helen held him down while you beat him up. Mama said, you better go back to Drayton and tell him he better get that lie straight. She said, I whooped Drayton's ass by myself. That's what she said. Mama said first and last time. After that, my daddy knew, don't mess with her. Mama said, I grew up watching my mama and daddy fight. My daddy didn't beat my mama. Because if he hit her, it was going to be a fight. She wasn't scared to fight him back. And that's what she always told us. If a man hit you, you may not be able to beat him up, but you better go down swinging. Well, Bert and Maxon, we called him Uncle Charles, honey, they were swinging up in there right in front of me. And when it was over, he left. Then Aunt Bert apologized. And she told me that had never happened before. Well, okay, then if you say so. I'm just 12, keep in mind. And she asked me not to ever tell anybody what happened. Well, I don't believe that was the first time it happened. But I never told anybody. Up until now, this is my first time telling what happened. Mattie came back a little later. No, I think her son came home. That's right. While they were arguing, her son came in. And then him and Uncle Charles, Max and same person, then they end up getting into it. Sure did. Woo-wee. Oh, Lord, it was a fight up in there that night. And oh, Lord, I was scared somebody was going to get killed. I mean, they went for broke up in there. And I'm still sitting there like, I'm still crocheting. I got my little yarn and everything. But now they acting a fool in front of me. Excuse me, Uncle Charles, I'm your sister's 12-year-old daughter. I'm a guest in your home. I'm just here visiting. Most crazy folk are at least going to try to act right when you got some company there. Y'all in here swinging and fighting, and you know your sister's daughter is in here. You can't control yourself. No. Because he grew up in a household where that was the norm. You just fight. If you got a problem, you fight in front of your children. Okay, that's WM. That's Maxon. I already told you about my mama. Look at here. My mama was married to Pretty Boy. Look at that. Ain't he pretty? Yes, Lordy. Hey, she had him. And a whole lot of other women had him too. I'm going to tell y'all something else. All you women on the side, tell you one thing. My mama may have to deal with my daddy being on top of some women, but guess who he on top of now? Right on over there at Inglewood Park Cemetery. Yes, he on top of her. That's where he gonna be till kingdom come. But in her marriage, she dealt with a bunch of dysfunction because that is what she has seen. Now, let me tell you what. Oh, Aunt Helen. Talk about her. Aunt Helen was raised by Grandma and Grandpa, Grandma Lula and Grandpa Dick, a husband and a wife in one house. I told you her 3 uncles married 3 sisters. So right there in the quarters where you could run back and forth between houses, she saw traditional marriages. Grandma Lula's brothers and sisters all married, all the cousins right there in the same Geneva community. So Aunt Helen modeled what she had seen as a child. She married someone from Geneva and my daddy's cousin, by the way. She had the traditional marriage. The rest of them did not have traditional relationships. While I'm talking to Gwen, she tells me Gwen is Annie Jean's daughter. I don't know what kind of... Annie Jean when it comes to relationships. Her mother died. A couple months later, she got married. She got married at age 13. Your daddy is an educator and you get married at age 13. I don't even want to think about that one, okay? But let me tell you the story Gwen told me. Gwen said, I've always had a good memory, and every time the coffee pot came out, that meant Grandpa was coming to town. Well, one day, he was sitting on the front steps reading the newspaper, and he disappeared. We didn't know what happened to him. A couple hours went by, he still didn't come back. So my mom called the police. The police came out. She filed a missing persons report on him. Because at the time, let's do the math. He was 33 when my mother died. When my grandmother died. He would have been 43 when Annie Jean was born. So let's add 20 years onto this. He's about 63 and he has disappeared. She calls the police. She files a missing person report. She said a couple hours later, here he come back. He had been down the street at some woman's house. My grandfather's almost mid-60s, and you still out ho-hopping. How do you go to town, go visit your daughter and your grandchildren, and you down the street hoeing around with one of her neighbors? Y'all in a relationship with them kind of people? Don't be getting mad at your man if your man is hoeing around. Honey, he is what he is. If you don't want to be married to a hoe, you either deal with it like my mama did until his little hoeing stick don't work no more, or you gets to stepping. Look at here. Grandpa down the street getting his swerve on. And this was way before Viagra. Parents, watch what you do in front of your children. They're going to model what they see you doing. Y'all come back tomorrow for more of Life According to YoBo. Bye-bye.